on it, and someone did a trace video where they created
it's like a figure eight or
trace lines around the planes or the objects that are flying around the plane, and it started to create what they say was some type of portal. It looks like it was creating like a vortex of some sort. So I mean, there's crazy stuff coming out.
I've seen that video, and it's like if that video is real, like that's freaky.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But Candace Owens is pretty good about not putting BS or like speculation on.
She's really good. She like her whole team,
and she dissects it with some dude that brings the videos to her, and she's like, "This is a real like radar imaging of some sort that they have of the Malaysian flight," and yeah, it literally just disappears into thin air with these objects flying around it like crazy. The only question I have is, did they lose radio, communications at that point? Because you would think they'd see all these objects flying around them, at least on their radar too. And did nobody else see it in live time and be like, what's going on out there? I mean, we haven't heard much of that either.
So the claim on that video is there's like things going around the plane, then all of a sudden planes.
You want to see it?
I've never seen the video.
I haven't seen it.
I think I have it.
Candace.
I mean, watch it. Dude, like I said, if it's real, it's freaky.
I think I have it saved.
It's so weird to me though. Like
there's
with all
people on it.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Ill Ego Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Nostos, a.k.a. Ill Ego CEO, and I'm here with what appear to be our three counterparts, Deion, 2 Cup Larry, Cody, Big Meat Milk, and Dalton Nelson.
Yeah, good enough for today. We'll
it's coming. It's coming. Eventually it'll hit. Deion knows it took a few years.
Yeah, it took a while.
Hell yeah. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Deion's fresh from Italy, straight out the Vatican.
Straight out of the Vatican. It was very cool. The Vatican was amazing.
Everything, the pictures you sent look amazing.
And I did such a bad job at taking photos. I took a couple of videos that are actually really good of
in the moment
of things. We're not, neither of us, Nicole or I, are very big on social media, but I did try my best to get some things out there so people can see what it is that we're doing, because family cares. But
you took pictures at least for memories, right?
Yeah. We've got photos. Cool. But even with that, like I didn't want to. We had to like remind ourselves, like, hey, we should take a photo of this, or like let's take a photo here. We have 6 photos of us just like sitting in the airport, like getting onto flights or like getting off of flights, just saying, oh, we're here. So on Snapchat, I have like, and I didn't post any of them on Snapchat. I just saved them. Yeah. Just got here. So it's dumb.
You went public for Conor McGregor real quick.
For Conor McGregor, exactly.
Yeah. That was crazy.
So it was very cool. We had a great trip. It was something special for sure.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Did you see anything crazy at the Vatican?
Nothing crazy at the Vatican. That was
Did you see any of the Swiss guards?
We did see one Swiss guard looked goofy. So
did you have the big
staff?
Yeah.
It was not sharp, and it was very. I was like, "What are these guys doing?"
You didn't see any other military?
I saw all the So they have like 4 forms of police. 3 in Italy, and then they have the Swiss guards in the Vatican City. But they also use some of the police at the entrance of the Vatican City, because it technically is its own city. It's blocked off by walls.
Oh,
but it's in the center of Rome. So
interesting.
They wanted it to be the capital of Rome or of Italy, but the Pope said no, and he wanted to keep it for the Vatican City. So the Vatican City basically pays a tax to keep the Vatican City instead of Rome.
Do people live there in Vatican City?
So there's people that live there, but it's not like regular everyday civilians. There's people that work there that live there, and then there's people who are in the Swiss Guard that live there. There's the Swiss Guard family members that live there. Obviously, the Pope would usually live there. This one doesn't. There's police that live there, and then that would be it. But there's not like a regular citizen that goes.
Wait a minute, the Pope doesn't live there?
Not currently. This one doesn't, no. Usually they do.
So it's like a castle in its kingdom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's what it sounds like. It's walls in the middle of Rome, just a walled city in the middle of a giant city.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
it's not like gigantic by any means, but I mean, when you think of it being just in the center of another city, it's wild and it is big, but it's not like you can walk it in. If you can walk like straight across in probably 20 minutes, it's not like that big, but there's buildings in the way, so you couldn't physically do that. But like the border isn't far away from the exit, I guess.
Interesting.
But it was absolutely beautiful. There was no secrets that you couldn't the secrets we all want to know. You don't have any like understanding of where they would
no
be.
inclination of any of that.
There is access points, so we didn't go into the basement, but in the basement, one level below the St. Peter's Basilica, which is like the big church that I sent you guys some pictures of. It's absolutely massive. It's got lines inside of it that show other extremely large churches that can fit inside of it, because they wanted to be able to say all people are welcome here. Everyone can fit in here. We can fit your whole church in here, meaning you're welcome to come here. And so like there's lines on the floor inside of the church that mark where your church would sit in replication of the size of this building, basically. Wow, but crazy. In the basement, they've got some of the popes that had passed away, so that's where they're buried. And then below that, St. Peter is buried.
Wow.
Is that true? Like 100% he's down there?
That's what they say. So they said they DNA tested it and everything, so obviously we have no clue, but that's why it's important.
Are the popes confirmed down? Like, could you go by them and see graves and
you
stuff
can
like
go
that?
see the popes. That's the thing. So we didn't go downstairs, but there were some that were upstairs as well, like some caskets that are upstairs inside of the church. And then there's also the hearts are buried in another church, some of them only, right across the street from the Trevi Fountain in that church.
They took their hearts out?
Yeah, I guess. So some of them requested that would be the case, that they'd be buried in their church or a different church. You know what I mean? So, but that's the whole significance of the basilica, is that St. Peter is there, and that's why everybody wants to go there. Mm-hmm. So I would assume it's true, but that's obviously crazy. You never know.
Did it feel like a holy place? Yeah,
for sure. For sure. So we came during a really special time, actually. The Jubilee was going on this year. So there were tons of groups of people from different churches that would carry a cross, and they had like a special entrance, obviously, because we were there during this going on. They have a special entrance that you can go through, and we could have went through it, and we probably should have, but we did not. You can go through this entrance. One person's generally carrying a very large cross, and you cross through this entrance, and when you cross through this entrance, you can go and pray, and it's supposedly supposed to wash away all of your sins that you've committed over your life, and then you can basically start anew. So it's not like being baptized, but it's a special, significant time of year, or a year that multiple pilgrimage people are taking to come to the church. So very cool. And it's really, the goal is to be close to St. Peter's body, because it is holy. We
sounds like idolatry to me.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And being there, you kind of see that, especially when they have popes where they hold them to such high regard.
Yeah.
And they also have, so in Venice, they've got doges, which is like their form of their leader, but they don't do anything. They're just a visual being that's there, I guess, to represent power, but they don't make the decisions.
Okay.
All the people who make the money for Venice, those are the people that make the decisions. So they come together with the doge, and then they say what they want to do. So it's very odd. It's hard to say, like, people are being lied to or anything like that, but like, it's similar to the United States, where you're told things because we want to unify people. We want to seem like we're the strongest, like when we're in Italy, they want to seem like they're super strong, but in reality, all of the rest of the world understands how strong Italy is and what they're capable of doing. Like, they couldn't fight a lot of people,
right,
and win.
Right. Yeah,
so
for sure.
It was very interesting hearing about their history and stuff. Not being Catholic, obviously, it doesn't hold as much significance to me, but being in those churches, you definitely feel special something. It was interesting, and just being
awesome.
among all that art. But like I said,
so much historical, like just architecture in general.
Thing,
like
it was so
stuff.
cool, and everything was massive and old, and like they were starting to make things look good because it was a special year, so they want everything to look clean for people that are coming. The Pope is like really sick right now, so he's in the hospital, actually, is what they told us. And he's got like a respiratory infection that's not doing well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't know how the system works for like picking a new Pope, or if the Pope has to die. There's
usually someone in line next, isn't there?
That's what you'd assume.
Yeah, I think there's like always.
Well, I don't think so. I think what happens is if the Pope dies, they release the smoke.
Yeah.
That announces that the Pope has passed, and then they hold elections.
Oh, really?
It's like not like a city election, but they have
the Cardinals, right?
They have the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But so is the Pope? What I was wondering, I didn't ask because I just thought about it.
Oh, sorry.
Is it? Do they have to be a European person or like a person from Italy? That's what I was wondering. And obviously not Italy; it'd be European, but like just a Catholic European person, or what are the standards for that? I thought that was weird.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are. Just something like our president has to be U.S. born.
Yeah,
I'm sure that they have something similar.
But it's crazy because it's not for being Italian; it's for being Catholic.
Yeah.
So it is weird. Either way, a lot of the.
I love that you said Italian though.
Why?
Because Italy is like the true home of the mob, you know?
Yeah, and we kind of felt that. We felt
That's how they say it. Hey, I'm from Italy.
It was great. I mean, like you do realize like the representation that they try to put forward is really good, you know, for their people. If you can get people to think the way they want you to think, then that's awesome. And I wish we would think more that way. Like more people would think America is great and that we are powerful, which they're not lies. Luckily, we get to actually say it and mean it. Yeah.
I think it's been my experience that people around the world do think we're amazing and think we're super powerful.
Well, and they do. Yeah, like they know that. But like if we were Venice, which is not a very large population compared to like a lot of places in Italy, like they were telling people they will fight anybody and everybody, even though their army isn't that large.
Right.
They don't have a bunch of nuclear weapons or any sort of weapon really that would be able to damage anything. In the Vatican City, though, what you were saying, they've got the police, they've got the weird ones that dress funky that are for the Vatican City, the Swiss Guard. They wear orange and blue or red and blue. It's like they look like straight goofball pajama guys, right? And they got these little staffs that are not sharp. I mean, they could probably stab you with it, but like they're not gonna slice you or anything like that. So
it's just for ceremony.
Yeah. So and we only saw one of them. The military, there was a lot of military around, which was weird. Like they would walk in just like groups.
Were they strapped?
Yeah, with like machine guns, like submachine guns.
Did you see anybody that appeared to just be pretending to be low key, but were clearly like security or guards, like undercover? No, but there wasn't as many people as like you would assume, like workers, you know. Like what did that lady talk about, Cody, in the video? Gardeners.
Yeah, there's
that weren't gardening whatsoever, and you could tell that they were just like undercover security.
No, they're pretty obvious, like because they're just standing there, you know, they're not doing anything. So like there were guys in black suits that like when we were looking at the Michelangelo painting in the what's it called? We saw so many things, but in the Vatican City, there's the museum with Michelangelo's paintings. Yeah, and that alone would be so worth it just to see him. That was probably the best art that we saw. Yeah. Like the Last Judgment is so beautiful. Yeah, like the depiction of like seeing the people reach down to try and help people out of hell is so fantastic. Like that's cool. It's beautiful. So it's like what we try to do on the podcast. Yeah, it's trying to pull people out of hell. Reaching out and they don't want it, bro. Yeah. It was crazy. When we flew out, the day we flew out, we woke up at 3 a.m. and attempted to fall asleep on the plane, And that was a mistake because we didn't sleep on the plane. I slept about 20 minutes and Nicole slept like 40 minutes.
Damn.
And we were on an 8-hour flight, a 1-hour flight, and a 2-hour flight. So it wasn't good. We got there, it was 11 a.m. and we left at 12 p.m. So it was not ideal. We started walking, got some food, and then we went to our hotel room and fell asleep at like 7:30 p.m. their time and woke up at our regular time. Well, we woke up at midnight, fell back asleep, woke up at 7 a.m. And that worked really well, actually. So it wasn't the worst thing ever.
Just a shitty flight, though. Huh?
It was just a really shitty flight. And we were like rushing to places, trying to get to connections and stuff like that, trying to get our passports stamped. And we had to figure out how we were going to get to the place in Venice that we were staying because it's an island. So we had to take a ferry in order to go over there.
Did you take the Kanye gondola ride then or no?
No.
Not asked out or nothing.
The gondolas were kind of trash. Like so they were just like in a not a bay, but like right in the river in the center of town. Yeah. And there's like 20 of them, right? And then guys just like, hey, you want a gondola ride? You want a gondola ride? It's like, what? There's nothing romantic about it, you know? Like it didn't seem romantic. The water's like green.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't eat fish that's caught out of there. But I mean, I'm sure it's great fish, but I don't eat like seafood most of the time, and definitely wouldn't eat it out of there.
Ooh.
You know, so only bottled water for me. There at least. But it's not romantic to me. I think it was not great. But we were excited. I would recommend that people go in February, March. Definitely, the weather was perfect for wearing a sweatshirt and like.
So it's kind of cool, but not too cold or nothing.
I mean, the first 2 days were cold. It were like 30 degrees. One day it rained.
Oh, that ain't bad for you. That was probably nice. Yeah.
It wasn't bad. The rain was bad because it was like 30. It was just above freezing, basically.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was 50 degrees everywhere else. So 50 and 60. So we were eating outside. People obviously smoke cigarettes a lot, so that was probably the biggest downside.
Yeah, they smoke heavy.
Yeah, we're non-smokers.
Smell bad everywhere.
Yeah, and I can't smell, so that wasn't the worst part for me. But like when you get just a breath of big smell of cigarette, it's just like
none like cigarettes for breakfast.
Yeah. And like when we eat outside, they don't have rules against smoking like right outside. So people were smoking
right there while you're eating.
Yeah, so a lady. They were probably our age. They were smoking while we were having a glass of wine. Nicole darts. And I just ripping darts. And the guy was like, I don't really want to. Like, obviously they're speaking a different language, so I don't know what they're saying. But like, I can tell by
the body language,
and context and whatnot. So she's like, she passes him a cigarette, and he's like, no. And she's like, come on, go ahead, it's fine. Like, people won't care. And we're sitting there having wine, and he's like, and he's like, no. And he gives it back to her. Then she lights her cigarette, and he's like, okay, I'll take it. And he starts smoking. They're just blowing smoke right in our face. I was like, God dang, dude. But last city we went to was Naples, and I don't know if it's where we stayed or what, but our hotel was disgusting. We got there early before we could check in, and he was like, you can put your bags away in this room. We go put our bags away. Nicole looks up as we're waiting for the elevator to come to get to the room. There's cockroaches in the ceiling.
No.
Similar,
you see 'em?
Yeah, similar lights to this. You could just see big ass cockroaches just right in. I was like, Nicole, dude, we can't stay here tonight. So we left. We put our stuff away. We left and just started walking around the city. And I'm looking, and I'm like, this isn't good. I'm looking on my phone. Once we get to a spot where I can
we're in the damn hood. How did this happen? It looks so good online.
I hope we were in the hood. I hope that's not a representation of what the city was. Man. But it was. We walked an hour away, went to the like famous shopping area where they've just got a street full of different shops, and I got to a spot where I could stop and look for different hotels. Nothing looked like it would be any better, and so I gave up on that, and I said, we'll see what the room looks like, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, we're going to go stay in these pods that they have at the airport. And we get to the room. It's all the way at the top floor, and it was nice enough. We couldn't see any signs of anything gross, other than the water was coming out yellow in the bathroom. And so I was like, yeah, we're not going to use that at all. Because we both wanted to shower because we were sweaty and gross, and it was just disgusting. So that was super sad. That area was not great. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't recommend anyone even go there. I wouldn't use that place as a hub to go to other places. I would go somewhere else. It was like going to this like into Minneapolis, like in the worst neighborhood.
There was no reviews on the hotels or anything.
On the hotel, there was reviews, but they weren't bad. So it was like a 3.8, which isn't great, but it's not the worst thing. Or no, it was a 4.3 or something like that. But it's a 3-star hotel. And like the photos look fine and all the reviews looked fine. And then I look and no one said anything about it being like extremely dirty like the way it was, you know?
Damn.
Like, so I left a review. I said the staff was extremely friendly to us. They did a really good job, but the room was disgusting. The hotel is disgusting. I wouldn't stay there. So that was the only downside we had on the whole trip. Otherwise, everything was better than anything I could have ever imagined. Like, wow. It was perfect. I love Florence. Florence was beautiful. I would live there. Like, all the views were beautiful, all the things to do. The people seemed like they were nice enough. Like, it was a special place.
You didn't go to the Coliseum?
We went to the Coliseum. We didn't tour it, though. We didn't go inside of it.
Oh, you were outside?
Yep, we went outside, and
what
it was
that like?
Nighttime, and it was lit up. It was beautiful.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Going inside there would be crazy.
I've heard that it's like really dirty in there, but I can't imagine that's true at the moment. I think it's when you have so many tourists going through, that's when it gets so much worse. But like at the time we went, it's not as stinky, it's not as dirty, you know? Like, I get what people say when they're like, oh, it's dirty there, it's stinky. Like, they've got garbage cans on the street. Like, they'll have like 3 big pods that people can put their garbage into. Like, and when I say garbage, I mean your home garbage. Like, instead of having bins that we have, they've got those bins in front of their 8-story house, you know? It's not a house, 8-story apartment or whatever you'd call it.
Yeah.
You know? So that garbage just heats up, you know? And then that's why it smells. Or the people sweat and that's why it smells. But like, it wasn't bad like that. I would pick this time because of like people aren't sweaty. There isn't body to body.
Yeah, the heat's not making it all stink so bad.
Yeah. It was good.
Your brother told me, were you in Naples when this happened? Your brother told me that you saw someone shitting on the street.
No, that was in Rome. So yeah,
oh, okay.
I saw someone shitting on the street. So
someone pooping on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
We assumed that she was a homeless lady. But it was 7:30 in the morning, and we were walking 45 minutes to get to the Vatican City, and we walked everywhere. We only took a taxi one time, and we took trains to get to the different cities. But other than that, when we were in the cities, we only walked, whether it was an hour or it was 20 minutes, you know, because on the way there was always other things to see that we wanted to see. So we put on tons of steps, but we were walking, and we see this girl. She starts crouching down, and she's got newspaper in her hand. She pulls her pants down, and like you can't see anything or anything like that. And Nicole looks away right away, and I was like, I can't look. I gotta see this lady shit on the floor, like outside. This is insane.
Deion's like, I need this visual memory.
Yeah, I was like, this is the only time I'll ever see this. Like in
nah,
Italy,
don't
like
lie,
this.
bro.
In Italy though, I'm not gonna see it in Italy.
In Italy, but back in the day when they had what was that bar over off of 13th? You can see that every weekend. What was that bar over here that you used to be right there behind that Dairy Queen on 13th Avenue?
They just got rid of it, right?
Yeah, it just closed down not too long ago.
Remember the Cork and Cleaver? No.
On 13?
Yeah, behind like Chuck E. Cheese and shit. It was like an old country bar, like a redneck bar. Borrowed Bucks, yeah.
Yeah, it's where Sickies is.
Yeah. No, Sickies isn't there. That's not Borrowed Bucks.
It's like a block away.
Sickies is in the old Hooters building.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Borrowed Bucks Roadhouse.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They shit on the floor over there back in the day too.
That was crazy.
That place was wild.
Yeah.
This wasn't like that. There wasn't that many people on the streets. The cops, I don't even know if they wear like protective equipment. It didn't look like it. They didn't look like as thick in the chest. Like, I don't think they wear bulletproof vests like we do. Doesn't seem like there's much like a violent crime in the other places. In Naples there is violent crime, but like in Rome there was traffic stops, but that was about it. Most of the times it was ambulances that were going. The cop cars don't make noise usually. They just do lights, blue lights, which was really weird, not very efficient. One time we saw a cop had his lights on. The other, like his partner, stuck his hand out of the window with one of those little long signs, like a long stick with a sign on the end that said stop.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Not joking. They're in the car. He stuck this pole out of the window. It says stop to try and get the cars to stop as they were going around the corner.
What a weird.
It was hilarious. I was like, that's the goofiest thing I ever seen.
They must be accustomed to just praying for everyone.
I don't know. I have no clue.
See, that's the thing. Stuff like that is what I think about when people say that how much like America sucks. It's just non-comparable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's weird, but the big plus or the big takeaway that I have from it is like the amount of drugs that we have, which cause a lot of the homelessness. But the homelessness and the drugs are things that it doesn't seem like they experience, whether it's the part of Italy that I was in or not. But Naples, there was more homelessness and it seemed like more drugs too. Not that we got any, but
Right.
yeah, they've got like the mafia over there primarily too. So like they,
Oh yeah, I
they,
suppose.
they do bad things to make it worse for the city.
Yeah.
So, but in Rome, in Florence, in Venice, like I didn't see homeless people. And if I did, there were very few and far between. If you go to a large city here, they're everywhere. And most of them are on drugs, you know?
Yeah.
So,
It's probably too cold there, huh?
no, it was
30
cold.
degrees?
No, it was warm. It was completely fine. Like, where would they go?
Well, where do they go here? It's 30 degrees.
They're
don't have a
still
lot.
outside.
We don't have a lot though.
Go downtown. What do you mean?
I think we have a lot.
We have so many that the shelters are always overflowed or full, and they can't welcome more people, and so people end up staying on the streets in the winter.
We're not even that large compared to like the cities either. You go to the cities, I guarantee you go downtown.
Bro, you go to Moorhead, they're everywhere.
What?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
they're on the roads and stuff everywhere.
It's
like,
crazy how Moorhead's so
holding
much
signs.
worse, but it's just like just steps across
Yeah.
from Fargo. But
It's
it's like
weird,
way
man.
worse. Everything.
It's got more minorities in it too.
Cody's a big West Fargo guy. He doesn't have that. They don't have homeless.
See,
in
I
They
was
got a
in
they got a
West
little
Fargo, too.
little projects in West Fargo though.
See, I haven't seen it. I don't know what
I haven't
you
seen
guys
it
are talking
either.
about.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it either.
I heard that they rebuilt all those apartments, but they were straight like projects over there, like right off of Cheyenne, almost towards downtown. If you call that downtown, like where the event was, you know,
Downtown West Fargo.
like that area. There was like an old apartment complex. They were like kind of like townhouse apartments or condos, but they looked like projects, and it was just straight ghetto over there, man.
Wow.
Like ghetto.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's that's probably one of the largest issues that we have at hand. Like it would be nice if we could solve a little bit of that because it just makes things a lot better, you know. I don't know if it's because they make people pay for water and go into the bathroom, but like they just didn't have like instead of homeless people like begging for money, they had people with roses trying to scam you to buy their rose that they hand you, you know.
at least they're trying to earn it.
Yeah. So I'd take that over anything. But one thing I learned about them.
They do that in the bars here, bro.
Yeah.
They walk around with roses.
Now they do that. Yeah.
They've been doing it.
This guy, so I watched one of them for a little bit because we were eating lunch outside. And so what they do is they'll give a rose to a couple of people and just to show people that people are buying the roses.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, here, you want a rose to you and your girl? She'll take it. She'll say, sure, I'll take it. And then he'll come around to you and he'll say, all right, you owe me some money. Like that's the trick. They see other
That's
people
called
with the
sales,
rose.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not really. Not if they give it back to you. So it was really funny. Other than that, there was like a lot of African dudes or African looking dudes with chargers, which is obviously a scam, but it could be a much bigger scam if like recharge
scat packs are like. I was like, that doesn't sound uncommon.
with rechargeable battery packs.
Got you. Okay.
That have like USBs connected to them already.
Oh,
so like
okay.
you just have to plug your phone in.
Like the kind that they'd hack your phone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
for
if they're
sure.
smart and they're doing that, they're obviously going to make a good amount of money if they could sell one of them, you know.
Yep.
But like, I can't imagine people are buying them. Hopefully, because Nicole didn't know that. I was like, no, what you do is those are hard drives and they actually take the data from your phone and then have all the access.
Yep.
So that was another scam and then there was some guys just selling little toys that kid that would appeal to kids. So
interesting.
Those were the 3 main scams. No one tried to pickpocket us. We felt very safe other than in Naples. So there was no concern. Nobody lifts weights other than in like Rome.
Were you pretty big there?
I was like muscular wise, I was probably the most muscular person until like
Conor showed up.
Rome and Naples. No, Conor's not that big anymore.
He's probably bigger than you.
No, dude. He's light, dude.
He looks small.
Lorenzo's bigger than me or whatever his name is. The
heavyweight champ.
The BKFC.
Heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah, so he's big. Yeah. Other than that, I wasn't too worried about anybody.
When you saw him, did you hear people screaming and then you walked over?
No, we saw that he was there. So we went on a little hike to go see, it's called the Rose Garden and Michelangelo's Piazza is what they call it. And then there's a cemetery up there that's really cool and like how we should be burying people, but like they've got crypts, they've got all kinds of stuff. So instead of just having like one headstone, they've had cool statues and stuff like that to memorize people. And remember people. But when I was up there, as we were walking up there, we saw one of those billboard trucks and it said BKFC press conference, Conor McGregor, will be here. And I was like, no way. And I was like, we got to go find out where this is and see him. And she was like, I don't know. I said, I don't really care that much to see him, but if I do, it would just be a cherry on top of this place right here.
That's insane.
It'll forever be just that much more memorable. And so we did what we were doing, and I was like, all right, let's go back to the hotel. We'll take a nap and get ready for tonight. And we get back to the hotel. We're sitting there for like 30, 45 minutes. And I said, Nicole, you know what? Let's just go to where this is at when it ends, okay? And so we go for a walk for a little bit, and we're walking far. Like, we're going for a 30-minute walk to get to the area we need to be in for the thing that we're doing that night. And it's right over there. It's 8 minutes away. I was like, we're going to go see this. So we go over there. We wait for an hour and a half, and then he comes out. So, and like we were watching the press conference on the phone, so we could see when he was going to get done. Then he did like a meet and greet afterwards. But I feel so bad for the BKFC fighters because Conor McGregor is so much more popular. Like, people are there for him. And
that's why they made him a part owner, though.
Exactly. It's such a good play for them, but like those fighters don't get any like attention that they deserve. Wow. You know, like they're the ones fighting.
How is that not a conflict with the UFC? Because he's still contracted.
He is. I don't know if he'll ever fight, though. I think Dana's just doing that to hurt his legacy a little bit.
It's crazy.
It's like, do you even want to see him fight?
At that press conference, he was saying he wants a championship title in BKFC. He wants to fight someone for a title.
Yeah, his brain's a little loose.
He's coked out of his mind.
Yeah,
bro. Like, it's crazy to see him. Like, you guys seen the one where they're doing the face off, you know, and he's acting looking like he's ready to fight one of them dudes, bro. Like, he's just out of it, bro. Like, he's gone.
It's sad to see, dude. Like, I don't know. I've never seen I've seen worse downfalls. I can't lie.
Fast money is one of the biggest culprits in destroying people's lives, bro. Yeah. Fast money will get most people every time.
The thing is like, he could just be done, though, you know? Like, he could just...
But he can't, because the thing that made him his legacy, that like everything he stands for, all that he knows is being that guy, bro.
Yeah.
And, you know, he doesn't want to become irrelevant because he loved the relevance that he basked in.
But he could just be done, and he could live a happy life, you know? Sure. It's sad. It's sad. His wife...
I don't think he'd be happy, though. Like,
he wouldn't. No,
cameras aren't on him as much. He's not getting as much attention online. I don't think he'd be happy.
He would get no attention because, I mean,
he started a record label, for crying out loud.
Whatever that
dude
means.
Cannot let go of trying to be in the face of everything he comes
publicity.
Across. Yeah.
But he has money, though. That's the thing. That's what I don't get. It's like, dude,
but he spends it like it won't last.
Gets it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's got to keep trying to make it.
It's tough.
Yeah,
cool to see him though. Nicole's like, I've never been next to somebody like as famous. And I said, that's true. I guess I can't name a time where I was right next to a celebrity like that.
That's dope.
Like, when I was right, I was like, he was this mic stand or the camera stand away from me. Like,
that's crazy.
It was pretty cool.
Did you go, Conor?
Yeah, I said, yeah. That's all I did. I didn't know what else to do. I was like,
who the fuck is
that guy?
But yeah, no, it was good. The flights were okay, other than not sleeping. It was fine. Nicole did a really good job of just like being that second person, obviously needing to to stick together and stuff like that. We were just a good team, and
Dope.
I would have the directions and we would go, and we only messed up on a few things, but it all worked out in the end. So
there was no like bickering.
No, we don't do that really. So other than me being like, hey, like I need you to do this better, okay? Like we'll be walking next to each other, right? And we didn't get to do that often because like a lot of the times people were just dicks and wouldn't move over, or like they'd be walking in a group of 3 and we'd have to just like squeeze by. And I walk pretty quick compared to anybody like that was there that I saw.
Right.
And so if we were walking next to each other, or she was walking slightly in front of me, she would be like turning like her whole body and like stepping out of the way of people. And I was like, Nicole, you can't be doing that. Like you're walking right in front of me and I don't know when you're going to turn. So you can't do that. Like, or when she's next to me, she'd be like running into me. I'm like, stop running into me. I'm leaving you enough space to go through here. You don't need to watch out for these people like that. Like you be on the outside, I'll be on the inside, and we just walk. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We only talked about that one time, but she just kept like walking right in front of me or hitting me. Like, I'm like, stop. So it wasn't a big deal, but those were the only arguments we had. We almost went down an alley that was like really dark to get to a food place in Naples. And as we passed 2 pizza places, we were going to go to a different one that was 8 minutes away. It was already dark out. She had had 1 drink, so she was like a little buzzed. We started walking down this dark alleyway, and I was like, you know, Nicole, I don't think this is a good idea. Then we were like
there was roaches in our hotel.
Yeah. We were probably 10 minutes away from the hotel, and we were going to travel another 8 to 10 minutes away from the hotel. And it was already dark, and the alley just like was super not lit up. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we probably should just go to one of these pizza places that we passed already. Like this, I'm not a super scared guy, but like I'm not willing to put myself in a dumb situation for nothing, you know, just for some pizza.
Yeah.
So we went to the pizza place that was right next to us while we were talking about it.
So how was the pizza in the land of pizza making?
Pizza was delicious. The sauce, the tomato sauce was absolutely delicious. I don't like tomatoes. I hardly like spaghetti here. I don't really eat it usually. I'll put Alfredo sauce on it instead. I don't like how chunky it is. The sauce was absolutely the best thing I've ever eaten. Like I could eat that just by itself with just regular bread. So like raviolis and stuff that we got, lasagna was really good. The pizza was delicious on the outside. The crust was super thin in the middle, and obviously, since they use like fresh mozzarella and they use like fattier meats in general, like it makes the whole pizza much more oily. And since the crust is so thin, they don't bring it to you cut. It's full. It's just a full pizza, and it's always the size of the plate usually. So it's large, like really large. They call it a personal size pizza, but it was full size of the plate. It's not something somebody eats by themselves.
Did you see that people there were bigger, like heavier, or skinnier than people here?
I was shocked. I thought people were going to be like a lot better looking and like skinnier in general. And I didn't find that to be the case. I thought they looked relatively similar. The tough thing is since we didn't speak any of the language and we don't speak any other language, like I didn't know who was a tourist and who wasn't. It seemed like a lot of people were speaking French, and a lot of like couples, it seemed like they were speaking French or something. But most of the people were not skinny, but they weren't fat. There wasn't like obese people. There wasn't a ton of old people that we saw either.
So they just have shorter lifespans, but don't necessarily get overweight. Maybe
that's what I was thinking. I don't think it's like any healthier by any means.
Right. I'm sure it's more natural, whole foods. Like they don't keep like, you know, refrigerated food items and stuff like that in those places, do they?
I mean, I don't know how fresh the meats are. They eat a lot of seafood, and Nicole and I don't eat seafood.
Yeah, okay.
And so that was kind of the problem. So like we didn't get to see how good their food actually is in that sense. But like the pasta didn't seem to like bog you down as much, even though we're eating like a large portion. But we also walked everywhere, so we didn't like ever lay down. And after we ate, you know, but overall, like, so the middle of the pizza, you have to cut it into like the size of 2 slices, like how you would have here. It would be 2 slices sizes, and then fold it. So you rip it and then fold it, and then you can eat it. But if you cut it into a slice like we have it, all the stuff will fall off as you try to pick it up, and it's just all soggy. But the outside crust is all airy and light and crispy, and it's so good with the sauce. But other than that, I would, if I could just have the recipe of the sauce, we could put that on all our pizzas and we'd be just good. Like, that would be perfect. Also, they do like a lot of sliced meats, not like chicken or like, and it's not as good. I don't like it. It's fine to eat, but I wouldn't put it on a pizza. So that was really weird.
That's because we make pizzas wrong here. That's all.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, we're just accustomed to what we have, but that's where they make pizza. That's where the real pies are at.
Yeah, I mean, that's where.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
That'd be like going to Taco Bell and saying, "Oh, their Mexican food's better than Mexico's."
Sometimes, if you're drunk enough, it's quick. No, it was good. They're just like, I wouldn't want it to be all soggy in the middle, or like, and it was, the oiliness makes it so the toppings fall off. That's not how a pizza should be. You know, I don't know. That was weird, but it was good. I wouldn't not eat it. You know, the sauce was dank.
Nice.
It was really good.
Oh yeah. So, one last question: are you going to be able to tell your future kid that they were conceived in Italy, or
No.
Didn't happen?
Nicole's still on birth control, so we won't be seeing a little Deion until maybe
that would have been a hell of a place to
a
make
year
it
or
happen.
two. Yeah. That's the other thing, is like, that's one thing I can say I've done. Like, I don't think anybody close to me, or like in my family, or in my like my cousins or anything like that, I couldn't name one of them that can say they've been to Italy, let alone out of the country. So it was a big milestone.
Absolutely, that's awesome
for me in general, just to like be able to go out there and do something, and it wasn't the worst thing ever. You know, like, it wasn't nerve-wracking. When I got there, we were exhausted, so that was the tough part. But once I got some sleep and we were good, we were able to navigate and communicate just as well as we needed to be able to do it.
And your phone worked all.
I had to get the service in order to use my internet, and I wasn't going to just hold Nicole's phone the whole time. So I did get my service, because I was like, I'm not going to do this without.
So you had to pay for it for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was $12 a day, so it wasn't terrible. So like $90, $100.
That ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Not to be able to have the experience.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I did need it. Like, I wasn't messaging people a lot, obviously, but I did use the internet to access Google Maps, you know, because I had to basically review everything before we went there to make sure it wasn't like a trap or wasn't trash. Like, because some places they charge you $20 to sit down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, if you're in a busy area, and it's not a tourist trap, it is what they do. Yeah. If you sit down, you're going to get charged €20, €20, you know, like, which is crazy, because everything else there is really good price, you know. But if you sit down, some places you get charged. But you can stand up and you can get stuff. You just can't sit down. It's very odd.
Oh,
they still charge you if you sit down and like order stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the whole reason. Like, say you go to a bar and you want to get a coffee. If you want to get that coffee and sit down, you have to pay $20 or $10 or 15, you know. Yeah. But if you want to just get your coffee, stand and drink it, or take it outside, you can do that. Just for a regular price.
Wow. It's kind of smart.
It is. It is, because it's like with alcoholic drinks as well. You know, you can stay standing or you can sit down. I think the bathrooms is a good idea too, to charge people, or like, you have to be a paying customer, or you have to pay us $1 or $2 in order to use our restroom. The water is a good idea. If you're serving it in glass, I think you should be able to charge for that. Shouldn't be mandatory, but it is. If you want water, you have to pay. It's usually €2 per person. So,
did you guys go to any bars?
We went to one bar, but it wasn't like, they're not like the bars here. Like, they're not standing, talking, hanging, like, everyone's kind of they got their people, but also I can't speak their language, so I don't know what people are saying, which was really nice for me as someone who is like pretty aware of their surroundings. Like, I don't need to be aware of what you're saying because I don't understand. So if you really need to get my attention, you got to be like, hey, you, like I'm trying to talk to you, you know, otherwise I don't give a fuck. So it's like, it was nice to just relax and unwind in that sense. I don't have to worry about you. I just have to worry about me and Nicole, and that's it, you know. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
It was. But there's been a lot going on here. A lot of flight accidents that I couldn't talk about because we were usually on an airplane. One was Delta, and we were on Delta, so that was pretty cool.
I'd say one of the worst ones was on Delta.
Yeah. So that was we were at our bar, one of the bars, and we were watching the news on there, obviously not in English. And they were talking about it, and I just saw the video of it landing, and then we were just like, what could have happened? And I was like, well, it could have been like the snow, because it didn't look like they had much snow removed off of the runway, which was weird. And Nicole was like, well, it could have drifted sideways a little bit, and that wheel could have broke or something like that, and it rolled and broke the wing off.
One of the theories I heard was that the landing gear failed. So it might be what had happened.
Yeah. And
it broke off.
It looked, I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
But if those guys get money for that.
Well, that's why they were so quick to offer everyone 30 grand. They're like, just don't sue us. Here's 30 grand.
Yeah.
No, everyone needs to be like, nah, I'm suing you.
Nah, fam.
Would you take that trade off though? Say it's, what was it, 30 grand you said?
Yeah.
Say it's 30 grand and you have to go through that traumatic event. Or you don't, and you don't get 30 grand. Would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't go through that just to get 30
Do
grand?
you guarantee I live?
Yeah, they lived. Everybody lived.
But would you guarantee that to like
I
up
would do it
front?
if I knew I was going to
Yeah, if I knew I was going to live, for sure, I'll take 30K for that experience.
Yeah?
That'd be cool.
Even though you're going to be just like so scared though.
But I would
they
know I'm
rolled
going to
so
live,
many
so I don't know how
times.
scared I would be. It'd be more like going on a fucking roller coaster, you know what I mean? You're like, this is going to be a wild ride, but I'm
But
going
what
to
if you
live
get
and I
hurt?
get 30 grand for nothing.
What if you're one of the 3 people that got hurt though?
I'll break my arm for 30K.
I don't know about that. 30K goes pretty quick, bro.
I'm really young.
I'd do it too.
30K.
I would still do it.
I'd be like, oh,
Hell yeah.
fix
Let's
in a
roll,
couple
baby.
months.
Because it looked wild. I mean,
Yeah.
they flipped a good amount of times. Like, and obviously we're not trying to make light of the situation, but they survived luckily. And
Yeah, you know, the whole thing with all the conspiracies around stuff like this primarily come because we're seeing so many weird freak accidents in airplanes right now. Like just back to back every day, it seems like there's a new one popping up. And I've seen some old ones resurface and people are trying to pass them off as they just happened and whatnot. But for the most part, there's a lot of new ones popping up every day, and it seems weird, man.
Did we ever hear anything about that that medical airplane that just like nosedived out of nowhere? Like what was the
Philadelphia?
cause
No,
behind that?
yeah, they never followed up on that one. The one in Philly.
Philadelphia.
That looked like a missile coming in. There
Yeah,
was
it
like
was so fast.
there was
Yeah.
people talking about it. They were like they didn't think it was a plane.
They washed
They were
that one under the bridge quick, though,
Yeah.
for sure.
People were denying it was even a plane because of how fast it came straight down.
Yeah,
I-
they didn't
that's
look
what I
normal.
said,
Yeah,
right?
It didn't look
I was like,
normal.
dude,
it looked
that's
like a
so fast.
missile. It didn't look normal at all, but there was plenty of debris from an airplane there, too, so it's hard to say.
You can't just plant
And
that.
if it was a missile, it would have created a big explosion and
Yeah.
destroyed stuff. It didn't really do all that. It just, you know, like it was just collateral damage of the plane crashing and some people got hurt and whatnot. But
what I find crazy is a lot of them seem to be like private planes or planes that are designated for something. So like 6 people dying or 6 people are on the plane.
yeah, what was that
3 people
private
on the
jet,
plane.
Motley Crue, right?
That one.
Yeah, that was weird too.
The two in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, they died.
Collided.
Yeah, they collided. That was freaky.
when I don't remember any time in history like planes hitting each other, helicopters hitting each other.
Right.
There's so much room up there.
Right.
It seems like it'd be harder to hit each other than it would be to avoid each other.
And that's
Crazy.
where all the conspiracy theories are coming in now, because I've heard everything from like, you know, we're being hacked. It's like it could be China, Iran, anyone. Like we have all this new technology that they're telling us about, and then all these freak things start happening, and we're just supposed to assume it's just coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But we know that there's crazy technology that exists right now. We know we're creating it. We know that we have, you know, these UAPs and stuff that, you know, whistleblowers are coming out and saying, no, these are government crafts, and China has crazy technology to the point where they've been invading our skies over the last couple of years, and there's nothing we could do about it either. So it's really hard. And then I don't know if you guys have seen Candace Owens' Malaysia flight, you know, review that they did where they showed supposedly real radar pictures of objects
flight?
flying around the airplane, and then it just kind of,
and then it just went.
yeah.
I gotta
And
watch
people
that
were
off
saying, people were
Candace.
speculating that, you know, it looks like whatever, there's 3 or 4 of them flying around it, and someone did a trace video where they created
it's like a figure 8 or
trace lines around the planes or the objects that are flying around the plane, and it started to create what they say was some type of portal. It looks like it was creating like a vortex of some sort. So I mean, there's crazy stuff coming out.
I've seen that video, and it's like if that video is real, like that's freaky.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But Candace Owens is pretty good about not putting BS or like speculation on.
She's really good. She like her whole team,
and she dissects it with some dude that brings the video to her, and she's like, "This is a real like radar imaging of some sort that they have of the Malaysian flight," and yeah, it literally just disappears into thin air with these objects flying around it like crazy. The only question I have is, did they lose radio, communications at that point? Because you would think they'd see all these objects flying around them, at least on their radar too. And did nobody else see it in live time and be like, what's going on out there? I mean, we haven't heard much of that either.
So the claim on that video is there's like things going around the plane, then all of a sudden the plane's
gone. You want to see it?
I've never seen the video.
I haven't seen it.
I think I have it.
Candace.
I mean, watch it. Dude, like I said, if it's real, it's freaky.
I think I have it saved.
It's so weird to me though. Like
there's people on it.
Yeah, it's
it went missing. It was like 200.
It went missing. Yeah, there was a
when
bunch
was
of
this?
people on it.
Some people
Years ago.
2018, 19.
Yeah.
And they're gone?
It's like they're gone. No one knows anything about them.
That's crazy.
I got some friends. I got a friend who was in he went to the Air Guard for 20 years, and I like make jokes to him like, "What do you know about this plane? Like, you have to know something," because he was in the Air Guard.
That's why I always ask Cody, and he's like, "I can't tell
what do
you."
You know?
Yeah,
you gotta
check
know
this
something.
out. This is a trip. There you go. I don't know if this is Candace Owens' video, but this is the actual footage. This is satellite images. And then bam, it's just gone.
We don't even know if they're dead.
Isn't that crazy though?
That's wild.
I mean, I don't know if that's real, but even like assuming that is not real, and we don't know if the plane landed. I mean, obviously by now the plane would have had to have landed.
But imagine if these people are still alive, bro, and they're just in some parallel dimension of some sort. Like that's everything we can.
I hope so. I hope they
come up with as a conspiracy theory has to be totally viable.
Everyone better
now.
shut up, and everyone better listen to every conspiracy that's ever been.
Like,
thought
yeah,
of.
you just can't even call them that anymore at
all
that
real
point.
at that point.
It's wild, man.
That's crazy.
What's that Spirit Airline flight? That looks sick.
I saw people were bragging Spirit Airlines is the only one that hasn't had any crash or accidents. Yeah, it looks like a damn
I'm sure
bomber,
you guys saw that the United Airline was the first
preparing to depart for Haiti. No way. Oh, because that flight got shot down over Haiti, didn't it? Yeah.
That looks dope. I wish planes look like that.
That United flight was the first flight that Delta had done with an all-female lineup.
I don't know if that was true.
You don't think so?
No, Cody. Cody seems to have some
I've seen
better
a bunch
intel
of stuff about it.
I got a friend that's a pilot, and he flies for them. Trying to get him on to talk about it, but it's currently being investigated, so he can't talk about it right now.
But some information has come out like that. You shared a link to where they kind of talked about.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not.
There was a guy and a girl. The girl, granted, only had like very minimal time flying, but the guy was a pretty seasoned vet. It seemed like so. Yeah. But it was the captain was an actual man, and they both have passed. Some of the rumors are saying that these people never passed their, test. They didn't. I
don't believe that.
Yeah. So I mean, because look, right away, everyone wants to throw out DEI at everything that we're seeing happen, and that's just not the case. Nor is it the case that people on the left keep holding everyone racist for saying anything is DEI. It's just like what makes you think that DEI is strictly about race? First of all, we had what was the fair or equal opportunity employment. That was like race related. You know what I mean? But those people still had to have merit. And then they would just choose, potentially somebody who's of like, not white race, if they had merit enough, they would choose them over the other person to meet some type of quota in a workplace and whatnot. DEI is something completely different, and I believe DEI was only implemented so they could bring all these trans and all these other people into positions, because DEI is literally people who don't have merit for the job.
Right.
We've seen that clearly. That has nothing to do with race. In fact, the majority of people we can point out that were DEI federal workers aren't even freaking black people. They were all white people for the most part. You know what I mean? It was just people given positions, which I will believe is just so that the government could trick them into doing whatever they needed them to do the last 4 years. You know what I mean? They put these people in these positions and then told them exactly what to say and do and just said, trust us, we know what we're talking about, and we're going to make sure you're fit for the job if you just do what we say. And so they go out there blindly and just say and do whatever they're told, because you can trick these people because they don't know jack about the positions that they're in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's that. I think the guy who was in charge of the FAA was a black dude, but that dude didn't, literally, he was interviewed by Congress and didn't know jack about jack.
That was funny.
He had zero knowledge about flight patterns, about...
He said, I couldn't explain that to you.
He had no knowledge about anything. So that's clearly DEI. It doesn't matter that he was a black guy. What matters is that he did not know how to do the fucking job. And that's what DEI was all about. DEI it really doesn't have any bearing on race, and people are making it a race thing because the government said it out loud so that they can make Trump and his whole, administration look like trash right now. And so people run with it because, Trump derangement syndrome is high right now, really high. So,
yeah. Dalton, have you had an interesting conversation with a fellow conservative the other day?
Yeah, it's so weird because, like,
yeah, this is a good story.
How do you claim to be conservative, but then come and, like, even if I was not conservative, like, come and attack me? Like, this guy came up to the table. I mean, he seemed to know a lot of really, really big words and was talking, like, he was asking me about my thoughts on originalism, which I actually was, like, taken back. I was like, okay, I've heard this before. Then my social media girl, who's also, like, my intern, was sitting next to me, and she looked it up on her phone. And then when the guy looked away, he showed me the definition. So I was like, okay, now I can talk to him. And originalism is like how you interpret the Constitution. But even that conversation was so weird because I was like, I don't have many thoughts about it. And then he switched it to, what do you think about John McCain? And I was like, I know he ran for president twice. I wasn't alive the first time, and the second time I was like 8 years old. He was like, so you know nothing about John McCain? I was like, yeah. I was like, why is that so bad?
Why does it matter?
What's his relevance
why is that like the one person that like was end all be all? So I knew that John McCain was captured a long time ago and like got beat pretty bad, and
he was a POW or something.
Yeah, yes, I knew that, and I mentioned that. And then the guy was like, "Have you ever served in the military?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "And you claim to be a real conservative, but you don't know John McCain. You've never served in the military."
That's crazy.
And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of people who've never served in the military." And I was like, "I have respect for you because you served in the military, and I'll be respectful towards you." And he literally said, "Well, I'm not going to give you that respect." Wow. He was like talking really fast.
Oh, I would have
really
ate his ass alive then.
Oh, I was getting really mad, but like, it's my job to not show I'm getting mad. And I was like, I struggled for a minute there because I was getting really pissed off. And then like, he called me a bitch like 3 times.
Oh God.
Yeah, and like one of the times he's talking to.
I feel like Charlie would have understood if you lost your composure at that point.
Yeah, I know. He probably would have thought it was funny if I'm fighting this old man on the ground.
I'd just tear him apart verbally.
He got in my face, and I'm like looking forward at my students, and they think these things are really entertaining, and it can be very entertaining. So they're just watching it, and the president of the NDSU Turning Point, he's a guy, very capable guy. If there was ever going to be an altercation, he'd be perfect to have next to me. But he gets in my face. I'm looking straight ahead. He's right here, and he's just like in my face. He was like, when you were a baby in diapers listening to your daddy when I served in the military, what have you done for your country? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you are more than twice my age. Of course, when you were serving the military, I was probably a baby. You're much older than I am. And then he's using like more big words and stuff, trying to make us all feel stupid. And he went to the girl who was recording. Her name is Olivia. He's like, starts pointing at her, calling her names. I'm like, okay, we're done. Like, it's a 4-minute video I have, but there's a lot of people in the way.
Real conservative.
Yeah, I know. That's like another reason I was so mad is because he was asking me what conservatism means, and I was giving him a couple super basic things that I believe in that leads me to be conservative, and he didn't like anything I said, and he was cutting me off. Then he started talking about Elon, saying Elon's Hitler and all this and that.
Oh, he's not Elon. A conservative.
I know. There's no way.
Yeah, no way.
There's no way. And so as he's going at Olivia, kind of like leaning over the table, pointing at her, I'm like, okay, we're done. Like, you can come at me, but once you start going at the girls here, like, let's stop. And he's like, now that you guys have all your Instagram content you want and your shit for social media, he like turned to me and he goes, and he like, bitch, he like points at me, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, I was getting so mad at this point. And then I told him just walk away, and I'm like, you can go, like, you're done. Then the director of the union comes down. She's very polite. I don't remember her name, but I don't know if she's conservative, but either way, she's very friendly to us because we're a student group there, so she doesn't even care what we're doing. But I think she got complaints from other people because I looked around the union. People were watching. People had their phones out recording. There was like staff of NDSU behind desks looking over at us. And I'm like, yeah, she definitely got asked to come down and deal with it. And once she comes down, this guy was like right next to me. And he was like, thank you for coming and like getting me out of the situation. These guys aren't real conservatives. They're pushing a fake agenda. None of them know what they're talking about. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, this guy just said, thank you for getting me out of the situation. Well, he was in my face. Jeez. Like, this is insane. And he sounds pretty woke to me. I know. Like, terrible. How do you claim to be conservative, but then like get super heated? I literally said to him, I was like, why are you mad? Like, you see,
why are you attacking others conservatives?
In the video, you can hear me say in one of the parts, like I think in the beginning, I'm like, why are you shaking and so angry right now? Like, I just start going at him because he's like visibly shaking. His eyes are wide. He like can hardly talk right away. And I'm like, why are you so mad? Like, what did I say that made you mad? He said something about how like people your age, all you understand is cryptocurrency. You'll never understand how he said that. And then I laughed at that, and that's what triggered him right away. Because he was like, oh, so now you're laughing at me. And I'm like, well, you just like made fun of me because I'm young and think I don't understand the economy and all I know is cryptocurrency. Because I thought it was an actual joke right away, but me like laughing at him, he's like, now you're smirking. And then like, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I was like, this is insane. Like, this guy's got to be on the spectrum or something. Like,
Definitely. Was he a student?
He said he was. Yeah, he said he was a student.
Man, we should do a pod one day, like at one of your events. That would be like, if we could do that, that would be cool to like actually bring the recording equipment and set it up and just talk and engage people, like
have people come up, like a live like prove me wrong event.
Yeah,
you guys,
yeah,
hosting it.
It'd be fun.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, I would like to see Cody go off, man.
Cody would too.
You're pretty well equipped when it comes to shit like that, and you're pretty level headed. Me, I would just be the guy that's good for intimidation.
Yeah, exactly.
People but Cody would be good to talk the real shit.
Like Charlie talks about staying calm and just like, I think the words he used is like, never let your heart beat get higher than the person you're talking to.
Yeah, and
he's like, I know it's hard. I remember when we were training in Arizona, he said that he's like, it's really hard. I'm sure you guys will find a video of me a long time ago where I lost my cool because there's a video of it out there. He gets very, very angry and yells.
Is it an auditorium?
Yeah, it's because of Chank.
I've seen it too.
Yeah, because of this guy named Chank, who's like, Chank is like a well-known hater and started yelling from the crowd at Charlie.
Yeah, but they brought him to the friggin' turning point.
Yes, they did.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. Charlie wanted to do a thing like he wanted to show that we could bring both sides together and have a conversation. That was why he did it. And it was pretty good content. I watched most of it, and they had a really good conversation. It was really interesting. Chank's moving more towards the right, but he's still like crazy. Yeah. Super crazy. But he started yelling at Charlie, calling him socialist or something. And then Charlie was probably like 25 at the time, maybe. Yep. Charlie stood up and like started yelling. People had to almost like hold him back on stage because he was so mad. It's awesome. Yeah. Seeing that video of my boss, I'm like, that's so cool. But now he's like, don't do that. Don't do what I did. But yeah, in that moment, I was like, that's the most mad I've ever been on the job and the weirdest interaction ever. But it's with someone who claims to be conservative. So I've met plenty of liberals who want to debate abortion, debate this and that. But this guy wanted to debate my conservatism and like because he didn't think I was conservative enough.
Did he explain his views?
No, he never. No, he like, and I tried to talk to him. He just kept talking over me. Like it was going nowhere. It was going nowhere.
See, that's good though. And when he tells you to not blow up on people, it is good. Like you don't need to. It doesn't do you any good. Like,
he wants us to look good because I have like a Turning Point banner in the video as our background because I take that everywhere. Like that's the brand. When I go out there in colleges, I'm the brand.
Yeah.
So if I look dumb, like it gets back, everyone sees the video. Everyone wants to take down Turning Point. Every other person, all the liberals, they're looking for us to do something stupid, say something wrong.
Exactly.
So they can post it and they're like, oh, Turning Point USA employee said this or acted this way. Yeah. And then my boss has to be like, don't do that. But like, so just staying calm in those moments, that was the hardest it's been all like my entire time working for Turning Point for sure. But like once he called me a bitch, I was like, you just called me a bitch. And he was like, I'm going to call you something even worse. And he goes, stupid. And I'm like, that's the nicest thing you've called me today. it was crazy.
That's great.
That's good. Wow. That's good to like those interactions are what make you better for sure.
Oh yeah. I know. Like I'm glad once it was over, we were already done like 20 minutes before this happened. I was supposed to leave. After it happened, I looked at my students. I'm like, oh my God. I need to go shut the lights off and like sit down somewhere. I'm like, my brain is fried from that interaction. So I don't know how Charlie does it for hours and hours and hours back and forth. Because that interaction alone was pretty short, but I was mind blown. I didn't even know what to say. Not because he was proving me wrong or anything, but because the conversation made no sense. Like, I get called a bitch 3 times, but like no substance to why he's mad at me. It was just so weird.
Did you try and tell him like, hey, if you're not going to let me talk, you can go?
Yes, I was like you like to hear yourself talk. I can't even get a word in.
Yeah.
Because he was like, tell me what your conservatism is. And I'm like, well, and then he's like, no. And I'm like, you're not even letting me talk.
Bitch.
So, yeah, literally.
That's how I argue. I'm like, no.
Asks me a question, and then I try to answer. He's like, bitch. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to talk to you. It was crazy. It was so crazy.
That's a great way to argue, though. He won that one, so.
Yeah, I mean, if someone watched it, I'm sure it probably looked from a distance away like I lost.
Yeah.
Because he walks away with a person, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Did the union person say anything to you guys?
No, I wish she would have talked after. I mean, she was really polite to me. And I said to her, like, I'm so sorry we're still here. Because our table was until 2. It was like 2:30 at this point.
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which we've been there before quite a bit past, but we've never caused problems quite a bit past. Like, usually we're out at 2, or we stay till 2:30 and it's just 3 of us talking. And no one cares because we're not causing a ruckus. But this time, it's 2:30 and we're causing a scene for sure.
Well, you were just there. That guy was causing the scene.
Yeah, we happen to be part of it.
Well, that sounds like a fun interaction.
Yeah, no, I wish, like, I thought of that too. Like, I wish somehow some liberal person would be brave enough and calm enough to sit here and talk with you guys. But like, people like that, it can't happen. They're just too crazy.
We still want to bring someone on, though. As long as they're willing to come up here and have a civil conversation, I would love to just pick their brains and let them pick our brains and see what happens. You
know, the college Democrats president at NDSU, his name's Carter. I feel like politics aside, him and I would probably get along because he's very respectful for the most part. Usually, as long as like our guys are respectful to him, he's respectful back. But he's very, very intelligent. Him and I disagree on almost everything, maybe everything. But he's super intelligent. So he's a guy, like, he comes to every Turning Point meeting. The college Democrats usually send a couple people every single meeting just to like poke the bear. But it makes for a really good meeting. It makes for really good discussions because they bring 20 people a meeting, and then the college Dems bring 2 or 3 people. So it makes it so it's not just like a conservative party, and now it's like an actual conversation back and forth. So I like that. And in the same day with this guy calling me a bitch, there was a guy who came up who claimed to be, he said he was a socialist, and he probably disagrees with us on everything, but he said that we need to close the border. He said he loves ICE. So a couple things we could agree on. He was so respectful. We shook hands after. Introduced ourselves, and like, but him and I, like, I was asking questions back and forth. Like, we didn't agree on almost anything. That's just the difference of like people who are level-headed and you can talk to versus someone who comes up to you and just wants to yell. Obviously, those are super unproductive in those ones. But when you find a guy who can actually talk, I'm sure you guys know people who are liberal, but you guys can actually talk to them. But they're not many.
Yeah,
they're far and few between.
Yeah, not many, but they're out there. And
yeah. Not here, at least. We're not in a heavy like liberal space in North Dakota, at least. No, Minnesota, maybe, but
even like I even have friends that are, I would say, more in the middle, and we still argue back and forth about certain topics. Like we won't agree on everything. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, when I brought Chase out for Malkapalooza, it was me, Chase, and D-Man. All 3 of us were just going, like, we would take turns arguing with each other. Like, it'd be like me and Duffy versus Chase, and then me and Chase versus Duffy on different topics. But it was fun. Of course, we were civil, but it was just like we could never agree. All of us couldn't agree on something. You know what I mean? But those type of conversations, like, are good to have.
Definitely.
Because you can open up somebody's perspective on certain topics.
I'm not close-minded enough to where somebody could tell me something and like I can realize like, oh shit, maybe I am wrong, or maybe I should think about something a different way. That's why people like Carter, like I talked about, mean so much in the conversation, because I'm not stubborn where if he said something, I'm like, I can actually understand that. I'd love to have that happen someday where someone says something to me and I'm like, that actually makes sense. Let's maybe me rethink what I'm thinking, but I just haven't gotten to that point yet. It's out there.
And then, you know, it would be nice to hear somebody like a young person like that being on the left with having new ideas and sounding normal. Mm-hmm. That would be refreshing, because all we've been hearing about is people on the left that are screaming the loudest just sound crazy. with these crazy ideas, and it's honestly ruining the name of the Democrat Party, or it has ruined the name.
The president of the NDSU lifting club, he squats like 500, deadlifts over 500, giant guy. He's I don't know if he's gay or not, but he walks around with pride flags on his like backpack. He's super, super left, but he's the nicest liberal I've ever met in my life. He's super, super nice. He comes to our table and is like, "You guys have an event today?" And he's like, "Let me know when your events are. I'll come to your events." But he is, like I said, I don't know if he's gay or not, but he super, super liberal. He did a debate against my NDSU Turning Point Club last semester. That brought out over 100 students to come watch the debate between. And the room was probably split 50-50 on conservatives and liberals. And there was over 100 people in the room. So it was super, super great conversations. But hey, I got to find a liberal worth talking to. They're out there.
Yeah.
They are. See, but they would never say that about us. They would never say this conservative was worth it.
No way. That's the difference. They're too woke for us. All right, well, let's jump into a couple more quick topics here before we end this. I want to show this one because I've seen a lot of back and forth on this particular situation. So let's check this out.
I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. But I understand.
Why would she have such a problem with that? I don't understand.
She's sitting in the white, but Minnesota's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to bring this up too, because first of all, Trump dog's not playing, bro.
I love that video so much. I sent it to you earlier. That video, I watched it the first time. That made me smile so big.
It was so good when I saw it. I was like, no way, he just did this on a press conference, bro. And the governors are all there with him. That was beautiful. Badass.
So sad that he has to do that.
Yeah,
I'm glad he did it too, but like, why is that a problem?
Think about the minority of that group of people that you're defending and standing off to the president of the United States for, bro. She's acting like if it's just this huge group of people that need her support, so they put men in women's sports, bro. That makes no sense at all. Same with Minnesota. The fact that they're going to bat with this and saying that they're going to sue the White House and they're not going to abide by the rule. It's just like, really, it's another top of the line issue. Like, come on here. Like, it's just like the whole abortion thing where people were fighting over that and saying they weren't going to vote for Trump simply because they didn't think he was, for abortion and was wanting to take women's rights. And I'm just like, how many abortions do you guys plan on having? Like that it's a top of the line issue for you and not other things be more serious about your voting radar. You know what I mean? And now a situation like this, same scenario. It's like, how many men are you trying to put into your women's sports in Maine or in Minnesota that you're willing to be like, see you in court, I'm going to sue you? It's just like, you're not going to win that one.
Yeah.
No.
If they couldn't take down Trump with all their fake 34 felonies and all the charges they put against him, what makes you think you're going to beat Trump as the president of the United States?
It's wild to think that, like, we want to protect these very few people who want to compete in a sport when they create themselves into the opposite sex, but don't think about the people it affects that are who they are actually and are in that sport already. Like all of the women swimmers that got affected by Leah Thompson, like there's a lot more.
By the way, Leah Thompson was stripped of all her titles. Great.
Fantastic.
Dude,
it doesn't reverse.
Did you hear that Leah Thomas was banging one of the female swimmers?
No, that's insane.
Yeah. I swear to God, dude.
When did you hear that?
I think it was
I hope that's true.
I want to say that Riley Gaines said something like that. You guys might have to look that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that one will be all over.
Maybe. I feel like I heard that.
I know. I seen it. No, I know I've seen it somewhere, dude. It might be fake news. I don't know.
But those girls don't get that back, you know? Like those girls that got that stripped of them, they're all down a place, won but didn't get a trophy. Like they don't get that time back.
In 2023, I believe it was, there was 890 trophies that should have went to biological women, so just girls. I hate you have to say biological women, so just should have went to girls in high school sports that got taken by a trans fake girl.
That's crazy.
890.
That's a lot
medals.
of people
That's a lot of people
to benefit such
and they talk about, you know, like, let's say you're a trans person competing against women. They say, well, you're hurting her feelings by not letting her go. What about the 890 people who should have medals?
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
890 girls who were born girl, trained their entire lives as a girl, never had the physical advantages of being a man for a second in their lives, and now they're losing to someone who is a man. It's unbelievable. Like, I think you mentioned like that small percentage that we're trying to protect, which is the trans people.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be like when you guys were in high school and our age, like the things that mattered most were protecting the girls, protecting women, protecting children. Now it's how many, like you said, how many abortions are you going to have? Now the people who are coming up, that it's not about protecting children, not about protecting women, because they're trying to change women to be men and protect those men who are now women. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right, let me correct myself.
I saw that Joe Rogan asked Riley Gaines that question, but
that's what I'm going to do right here.
It doesn't say anything about
Says,
she didn't confirm it.
So he asked her, and she's like, at the time, again, this is what I know based off of what his teammates have told me and what's really been public knowledge based off of what they post and different things. Gaines says at the time of the national championships, he was still dating women and active with women. But now, again, based off social media, he is engaged to another man who claims to be a woman. So two men, but they call themselves lesbians.
That's crazy.
Oh my God. That's a tough one to hear.
That's absolutely
But again,
crazy.
It's a mental health crisis, bro. I don't care what anyone says, man. And of course I mean it respectfully, but mental health crisis, bro. Like, you got to be kidding me that we're gonna just try to implement. Like, that would be like if like gang culture came to the forefront and said everyone has to accept us and see us the way we are and have to welcome us into the communities and teach about us in your schools, and because anyone can grow up and be a gangster if they want.
Yeah.
And kids should be able to have these options. We should write books about gang banging and it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense that we have to like allow this to go on in our society as if though it's a requirement or a right to have. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And I don't buy into it at all. I'm not going to say her name, but I talked to a girl at the gym the other day who is part of the LGBT community or whatever. She's gay. And me and her really agreed a lot on some of these topics. We talked about the Leah Thomas thing. We talked about, trans, because again, I don't have an issue with trans people. I have an issue with trans supremacy. I have an issue with, wanting to indoctrinate and wanting to have all this equality that they claim they want to have, but they actually get to do things that no one else gets to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but we agreed pretty much across the board on all these topics. And I thought that was interesting because I thought for sure we were going to get into, she was going to get mad or say something, but no, she was totally cool with me. And we were talking at the gym for a long time, and we pretty much agreed across the board of what's right and what's wrong in regards to all the gay talk and, the trans stuff and, Trump and everything else. Like, she's not a huge Trump supporter, but she doesn't have an issue with a lot of the things going on right now.
I like that analogy you made about pushing gangs and how I'm going to have to use that sometime in the conversation. But I think like the whole trans thing, I mean, I think I'm a lot like more radical of my hate for the trans community than maybe you are. But
I just mean, like, I don't care if you want to be trans. Like, that's fine with me. Yeah. But I don't have to live in your make-believe world.
Yeah.
And to force it upon me is crazy. Like, go ahead, be trans, be unhealthy in the brain if you want to be. And I'll leave you alone as long as you leave me alone. But that's not what they're doing. They don't want us to leave them alone. They want to be included and accepted. And for crying out loud, the real gay community does not accept the trans community. They're not gay. Mm-hmm. They're mentally unfit, but the majority of trans people are not gay.
Like, why do you have to throw so many different letters together with the gay people? Because the last gay person I talked to about this, he was like, yeah, I think that's crazy. Like there's lesbian, gay, bisexual, everything else is like what the hell is that? Because now they have on college campuses you'll see LGBTQ. I think it's 2S. It stands for Two Spirited, which is you'll see it next time you go somewhere. It'll be out. It's the newest addition to the rainbow. And it means that it's like a native thing. Like you're two spirited, but also like lesbian. You're part of the thing. But the person who came up with Two Spirited actually said that it came to her in a dream and she no longer believes in it. And this happened in I believe in the 90s, that somebody who was in this tribe, pretty high up in the tribes, she was lesbian or gay or something, but then she deemed herself to be Two Spirited, and somehow that got attached to the LGBTQ group when it has something to do with her sexual identity, but only as it more so pertains to like the native tribes and the culture. Michael Knowles just did a video on Jubilee. It was 25 versus 1 LGBTQ plus activists versus Michael Knowles. It was awesome. I watched the whole thing in like a day. It's like an hour and a half long. He had a lot of really, really good discussions there. So I think there's some clips from that I'll have to send you guys. But he talked to people he used the words, one of his prompts was he wants to eradicate the trans ideology. And then so many people came up to him and were like, so you want to extinguish a whole group of people like Hitler, basically? Like everyone likes to say Hitler. And
they love Hitler's popular right now.
Yeah, he is so more than ever. And they talked about, they're like, so what do you mean eradicate? You want to kill all of us? And he was like, I want to eradicate the ideology of you, not you as a person. And he said that I want to get rid of poverty, but I don't want to kill poor people.
Right.
So like, I'd like to eradicate poverty, but I'm not going to kill every person below this tax bracket. Right. And so he was trying to explain to them how he wants to eradicate gender ideology and the trans ideology. Obviously nobody understood it and everyone just yelled at him, and it was just good content.
Yeah.
But
they never understand. It's the weirdest thing. It's like they intentionally don't want to understand because they're afraid that they'll be outed by their friend group if they're like, wait a minute, that actually makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because it does. It makes perfect sense. What they believe in just doesn't seem to make sense, man, to the majority of the world population at that.
Well, I think most gay people actually are against a lot of the trans crazy shit. But like also if they do speak out publicly, then they're like speaking against what's like their group of people,
because they don't want to be coupled with what is clearly a mental health problem versus a sexual orientation that seems otherwise pretty genuine to most of them, right? Like most of them feel they were born that. I know people who are gay who are like, yeah, I was totally born this way. I've always felt this way. That's fair enough. Go ahead. Like, do you. I don't have an issue with it until you want me to practice whatever your belief systems are, then it gets difficult for me, and I start to draw lines, primarily with the trans stuff, man. I see it as a mental health. Most people that I know who are trans or do cross-dressing, they're not okay in the head. You know what I mean? They're not, or they have some kind of childhood trauma that led them down that path, or they have a father typically who was a trans person, a cross-dresser, and so now the kid picked up the trait because, you know, that's dad, and what's dad up to? That's odd. I'm going to follow in dad's footsteps. And, you know what I mean? I've seen it. I seen a guy that I worked with back in the day. He was an IT guy at a company. Super cool dude, you know, like real smart guy. We got to talking all the time. I worked with him for years. Then one day HR makes an announcement and says he is no longer he is now she, and he wants to go by this name. And he started wearing like women's blouses into work. Now keep in mind he was married with children at the time, and it just made this transition. Then there was this whole thing that they wanted him to be able to use the women's restroom because that was how he. And now we're talking 2004 too, so way before all of what's currently happening. But I mean, it was really uncomfortable for a lot of people. It was super odd and strange. Where now it's like everyone's just so, you know, it's normal. Everyone wants to accept it and be like, oh, there's nothing wrong. We should include them in everything and let them go to your kids' schools and dance and do all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not okay with that, because that to me is clearly a mental health problem. And like I said, I knew the guy, and I always thought there's something wrong upstairs. Like there's got to be, right? It's just the way it always appeared. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how you go from one to the other so easily, but then you come to find out that person's dad did the same thing, left his family to be a trans woman or whatever, and like divorced his mom, and he did the whole nine again. And so that's trauma related, if you ask me.
When I was working at the juvenile center years ago, it was the first time I've ever seen it in person. There was a kid who was in there for raping. I think he was 16 or 17.
Oh, you told this story, I think, last time.
They changed genders. Like, it was like I went in on a Monday and he was a boy. He was in there for raping his younger sister or younger siblings or something. And then I come in on Thursday and he's a girl now. And they were like, in a meeting, they're like, okay, everybody, he's a girl. Like, you have to be nice about it. And all 99% of the coworkers were like, what the fuck? Like, that is so weird. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so super, super, super uncomfortable. Started painting his nails. Started doing doing shit with his hair. It was awful.
I'm gonna assume that person was abused.
Clearly,
I would assume so. Yeah, I didn't read their whole file, but I would assume so.
It's like that kid we saw in the news. That's the kid that I told you guys I know personally. Him and his brother were molested by their father growing up, and then all of a sudden they both turned into adults and are super gay. Like,
oh, the guy who got caught.
The guy who got caught. Him and his brother were molested by their dad almost like their whole childhood, and then all of a sudden they think they're gay now.
They start doing shit with kids.
You know what I mean? So like I even believe like some people who consider themselves gay. Like I know there's people who are true. Like I've heard stories. There's people who are just gay, bro. Yeah. But then there's people who became gay later on in life that weren't technically gay, but were abused, raped, molested by someone close to them, or and now they think they're gay because they're messed up in the head. They're damaged and they never got therapy. They never got repaired. They never got help. And so like I believe that a lot of mental health issue plays into some of this stuff, man. And then I do believe there's people like one of the guys I told you guys about, that super manly gay dude. Like, he used to say he's not into, feminine, flamboyant gays and stuff like that. He had other words he used, but I don't have to bleep it all out again. But he used to say when he was a little kid, he used to look at like the magazine like clothing catalogs and see the dudes like in the underwear catalogs, and he used to like in his mind he used to be like, oh man, I want to look like that when I get old. I want to be built like these guys and have that kind of a body when I go out. And then as he aged, he realized like that's not what was happening in my head. That wasn't the excitement I got. He wasn't wanting to look like them. He liked them. He realized. Like he was intrigued, he was into them, but he was such a little kid, he didn't really have the hormonal influence to help him register that until he was old enough. And then he was just like, yeah, I wasn't looking at those dudes because I wanted to look like them. I was looking at them because I like them.
Did he have a dad in his life though?
Yeah.
Like the whole time?
Yeah.
See, my thing is if you think being trans is a mental health thing, then I think you have to say gay and lesbian is a mental health thing as well. It may not be as severe. It may not be as severe.
The thing is, that gay is a mental health disorder?
If you categorize trans as a mental health disorder, then being gay or lesbian also would have to be in that same category. But most trans
people aren't necessarily gay. They just like to dress like women.
A trans person is somebody who wants to be a different gender or thinks they are a different
gender.
Doesn't
mean they're gay.
But they still will sleep with the correct sex to their
wait a minute. See, this is where it gets all confusing. If we can't even understand it, that's how messed up that shit is. So if you are born a male, switch to a female, but sleep with dudes, which was your original gender, are you gay?
Yes.
Yes. But they'll say that they're not.
So it's like gay wasn't enough.
It's like Leah Thomas is with a man and they call themselves lesbians.
Yeah. But they're gay.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is most trans dudes are not gay.
Okay, so you're saying Leah Thomas Leah is the girl, sleeps with now girls, so they're okay. I got you.
No, Leah's a girl who sleeps with a man pretending to be a girl.
That's so fucked.
Yeah,
you really got to
keep guys though. It's two gay guys.
It's two gay guys essentially.
That's so fucked.
So yeah, but still, that's still a mental health thing 100%. That you want to dress up like that. That you play that part like 100%, man.
But unless there's a gene or something that you have, you can't just be gay. What is it that makes you gay?
I mean, you are fighting against genetics, right?
Sure, maybe, but how do you feel that way as a kid?
By something that happens to you. It doesn't have to be not that.
I don't know if everyone's necessarily that's gay. It comes from trauma, though.
I think you can be born gay.
It doesn't have to be like you were molested or something. I'm saying just like your dad doesn't love you. Your dad's there, but he doesn't love you. Maybe that makes you gay.
What if your dad does love you?
What if your dad loves you too much? or for too long.
There's no in between.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't buy that one for a second.
But there's no chemical reason for you being gay. That's what I'm getting at. So how does that work?
Gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
So that is like obviously that's like the term for people who are transgender and just dumb, I guess, for lack of a better word. But gay people, I think they can be born gay. I don't think that you have to be.
How? What is making you born gay? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what like I'm getting at. Like we're born to procreate, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're saying like me as a man, I'm born to recreate people, and a gay dude cannot recreate people. I mean, if you're going from a biblical standpoint, yes.
No, I'm saying like in not just biblical, like.
That's what your goal is in life. That's why you come out of your wiener. That's the whole point.
Scientifically.
That's why
I understand scientifically.
I don't think that makes it mental health issues, though. I think that maybe there's something wired differently.
I don't know.
I don't think gay people
let me
have
put it
mental
to you
health
like
issues.
this, okay? So, say I like to have sex with...
So you're anti-gay is what you're saying?
No. That's what I'm getting from this.
You have gay hate in your heart.
I'm saying if say I like to have sex with feet. I wasn't just born liking to have sex with feet.
Well, okay, gay is a sexual preference.
Attraction.
Well, gay is an attraction. They're attracted. Now, don't get me on your side.
But you're actually arguing in defense for it by saying that. It's an attraction, so it's gay. It's not a mental health thing. It's something you're attracted to.
So you're not born gay.
Okay, do you prefer doggy style or missionary?
I don't care.
Yeah, sure you do.
As long as I'm coming.
Sure
as long as I'm coming, dog. That's all I care.
Cheeks. What does your wife prefer?
I don't care about that either.
She have mental health issues.
Now he cares about even less. But
exactly.
But for you're born a man.
Yep.
Let's say when you're 18, you realize you're really small man. You grow up, you decide you
Tiny.
really like feet. You're born a man, and then you decide you like dudes. Both are sexual attractions. So God, now I don't know what I'm thinking.
See, what do you mean? You're explaining what I'm saying.
I know. I'm saying. But what's the okay? Maybe we're all against you. I don't know.
So look, I'm not saying I don't think all gay people have mental health problems. I 100% agree. There's a good majority of gay people who are gay because of mental health problems. That's what I'm arguing by saying that about the guys that were molested by their dad and now believe they're gay. I just believe that they're fucked up in the head. But there is people who I believe are just they're gay, man. Like there might be some kind of chemical imbalance inside of them that makes them orient in that direction. But like I think so. Like for example, when it comes to like the trans stuff, if you're born a hermaphrodite, pick. Take your pick, and I'll 100% play the game and agree with you.
Agreed.
Because A, that's fucked to be born like that, and then B, if you get to choose, you get to go. Well, I identify with my penis and not my vagina.
Well, you actually
and
said
you
a
win.
slur there.
You get to be whatever you want to be at that point.
It's intersex is the term.
Yeah,
it is.
Intersex.
Intersex is the
like
term.
as opposed to hermaphrodite.
Yeah,
really.
It is.
Is hermaphrodite is the medical term?
You're gonna have to just bleep it.
I don't know. Play those games.
No,
I think it
They're
is
hermaphrodites,
intersex now.
bro.
It is intersex. No, that's what I said too until I got corrected by someone dumb.
Actually, it's called intersex.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? No, I don't give a shit.
Bitch.
But, yeah. But now, like, I don't even know who I'm agreeing with here because in the same way,
I heard you
but
do it.
Bro, it's that confusing.
No, because
It's
in the same way, I'm attracted to blonde females. That's my attraction.
Gay.
Yeah, no, in the same way I'm attracted to blonde females, what if you are the same way attracted to a dude? We both were just born that way and nothing like.
Yeah, but
no, you're not born that way.
I was born. I like blondes.
Let me rephrase.
You would still go after anybody else that's not blonde.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like blondes. I'm getting married to a blonde.
Yeah, you're getting married.
Would you kick a brunette out of bed though if you were single?
Go ahead.
My question is, Deion, would you sleep with a black girl?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, not like sleep in
the
bed,
same
but like
room?
have sex with them. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
See, then you're racist.
Yeah. I'm actually.
You're already hardwired not to like black girls.
That's a joke. Yes, I'm a virgin, dude. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys.
He's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
No, but so yeah, I don't.
Anyway.
Man, I'm to the point though. What I'm saying is, I genuinely don't take issue with it. I have my personal feelings about what I think some of these things are, and I would have to know someone's history to determine what I think their gayness is derived from. but I otherwise don't have a problem with it. Like, I don't care if trans want to exist. I don't care if gays want to exist. I don't care. The only thing I care about is pedophilia. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to exist, whether you want to or not. You should just probably do something to yourself to hurt yourself. But beyond that, like, I just don't want it to be imposed on us who don't necessarily live by those same ideas, man. Like, we're not imposing our straightness on everyone else. We're not holding parades and marches, and we don't have committees out there, legal, organizations fighting for us and doing that. We're just existing. And if you want equality, be whatever you are and then just exist. Stop trying to, this is the term I use when I say supremacy. It's like, these people claim they want equality, and then they start reaching for supremacy. They want to be the everything. They want to be included in everything, and they deserve this and they deserve that. For what reason, though? For what reason? What was the Secretary of House name, the original one?
Rachel Levine.
Rachel Levine. What made her qualified for that job beyond being trans? Because we were gaslighting that bullshit ideology at the time. She was unqualified to be of anything health, mental health, or physical health.
Yeah.
Yet she was in that position. That is what DEI looks like. DEI isn't just a race thing. You know what I mean? If you're black and you're qualified for the job, you're not considered DEI. If you're black and you're unqualified for the job, that's DEI. The fact that you're black is just a byproduct of part of the rule.
I feel like 99% of the country is like okay with gay people. Like, gay people is fine. I think all of us included, but it's like the trans shit. Then we're like, I shouldn't use the word like hate, because I don't hate the person, but I hate the ideology. And I think what they're doing is like insane and super incorrect. And like,
it's the imposition of it that gets to me. That's the biggest thing. Otherwise, yes, I have a pride flag hanging in my gym. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's plenty of gay people that I've had a couple of people complain about it, but I don't care. Yeah, that's their belief system. Yeah. Don't go find another gym, I guess.
Especially when we have 70 other flags up there. Like, if you hate one, you'll be all right. Yeah. You'll survive.
69 others to choose from.
Like gypsies. No. But yeah, for the most part, man, that's it just depends, I guess. I don't think gay is a mental health issue, unless you're abused and became gay based on that abuse.
My point, I guess, is you're not born gay. I can say
fair
that.
Enough.
You're not.
You're allowed to have
gay.
that thought.
Unless you can tell me a scientific reason why you are gay, then I guess you could tell me.
I would be curious if there is a scientific reason. Like, I'd be curious of just alone what their testosterone versus their estrogen levels are, because we know we know for a fact that there was a study done on the woke left, and increasing testosterone, they tend to lean more conservatively. It's factual knowledge that the left men have a lower testosterone than the men on the right.
See, and maybe it's just about the music your mom listens to while you're in her stomach, because then we got to be careful.
She listened to Drake. You're done.
Oh no, don't say that. That's all we listen to in the car.
I listen to Drake.
I was gonna say that's all I listen to.
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't bump Drake hanging with my boys, but I'll bump some Drake.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm not gonna sit around with my homies singing Drake together though.
The old school stuff, maybe though. I don't know.
Maybe some of the old Drake, yeah. But the new school stuff, man, that's for the ladies.
Dude, this last one, he just dropped his album.
I haven't
last
listened
week.
to it yet, but is it good?
I listened to it like quick, because I wasn't paying attention much. It was very quiet in my headphones because I was listening to outside noise too. But I mean, it's for the ladies. This one is for the ladies. He's gonna drop a solo album in the next couple months. So I mean, is it fine? Yeah. Would I listen to it like several more times? Probably not.
Yeah.
Were there a couple songs that were okay? Yeah. But no, I wouldn't say you're not gonna like it. Yeah. I wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't listen to it like any of the songs.
Bro, I listen to like R&B and slow jams when I train.
This isn't that. This is like
and oldies.
This is like not R&B. I love R&B. Yeah. Like, this is not it.
All right, before we shut this down, one more quick one, because we didn't get to cover the topics that we had prepared. But Kash Patel got confirmed officially today. He was sworn in, which is huge, right? He's now the director of the FBI, and he's made promises that we all, hopefully within the next 24 hours, will have more information on, particularly the Epstein files and the JFK files being released, which I saw an interview with Pam Bondi today, who said that the Epstein files are on her desk as we speak at the moment. And she said that they are going to be released and that they're following Trump's directives in first order. And so
did she give a date or no?
They didn't, but we'll see what happens. They're on her desk, and Kash Patel said day one.
So I work with a guy that's very in tune with the stock market. Like, he's very good with stocks.
He said, get out.
Well, I looked at my stocks recently and they tanked.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what's going on? He's like, Epstein's list is coming out.
No way.
Yeah.
You think that would like incriminate Trump a little bit though? That's the thing. That's what makes me think like no way, because he's been on the plane.
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
He's never been on the plane. Everyone was saying he was on the list.
Supposedly he's been in some parties where he was at, but that was just, I mean, he's just rubbing elbows with tons of celebrities at that point. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm not defending him, bro. Like, I don't know what the connection is, but he doesn't seem to be afraid of whatever connection.
He wouldn't release it if he was on it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to fear that relationship. He's talked about it before. Like, so I don't know, bro. I don't know. But I just, the character that he's portraying, I don't see it.
Well, the tough thing is like he knew about it though. You know, you think he just didn't know?
Maybe.
That's like saying Jay-Z didn't know about Diddy. I mean, they're best friends, though.
I mean, it'd be a great idea to get into the position that he's in before you try to take them down.
Yeah.
Doing it from where he was going to serve him no justice.
True.
They would just take him out.
It'll be interesting to see.
To know the level of what that is and to be in the know of what's going on, I think he played the safe bet and said, I'll just become president and then I'll do it.
It feels like something that would cleanse us at this moment. Like if that list comes out.
I think we're going to have one of the greatest awakenings we've ever seen in society or in the world, bro, like take place.
Well, even Kash was talking about the 9/11
Yes,
stuff.
that too.
Like, he's like, it's going to piss you off.
It's going to be nice to just get a little truth, hopefully.
Is it going to piss us off or is it going to make us be like, I knew it?
I
think there's a good portion of people that are going to be like, I fucking knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to piss, like, yeah, especially for the military, like so many lives lost for what? That is frustrating. That already frustrates myself. I'm sure everybody else here, like, that's frustrating to know, like, we've fought a lot of wars for very little or something that was not what we were told.
What is the reason that the government would have done that? Money, like there's
control.
No.
They wanted to go into the wars. They wanted to get into Afghanistan.
Like, so war. That's the money machine, right?
Yeah.
So like one of the things that we understand to be true is the world banks, right? The places that we've started wars, world banks didn't exist, but they're everywhere else. So there's the whole cabal and the deep state, you know, and the leaders of all that stuff. So that's one of the things, and it looks to be pretty factual because there's a lot of evidence to show that. I don't know if that's the sole reason, but you got to look at it's always follow the money, right? That's what they always tell us. And when you follow the money in the 9/11 conspiracy stuff, when you follow the money in the Epstein and the Diddy stuff, man, there's a lot being told there.
$2 trillion on those wars were spent, right? Yeah. Two some trillion. That's a lot of money.
Especially when the things weren't there that they claimed were there. And we know we have great intelligence. We have really good intelligence, bro. You know what I mean? I saw a really cool thing on 9/11. We'll end it here. But I saw a really cool thing on 9/11 that I've never really had anyone point out. But they were asking, where was all the fighter jets for that 2-hour period that those planes were up in the sky? We have fighter jets that go out every day into the skies to check out suspicious activity, or to, what do they call it, when they fly along, you know, an airplane or something when they're trying to figure out what they're doing there. But fighter jets always end up in the sky almost for every incident that we have in America. Yet on that day, they didn't scramble.
So that was 2001. Were they still doing it in 2001?
Yes. They didn't scramble, no fighter jets.
The happy hooligans were out there.
And they had tons of time.
Because the plane had, like, obviously been off track for a while, and you can tell that.
Well, they knew it was hijacked before it even went to the Twin Towers. So, yeah, weird. It just made me think, like, damn, we really don't have all the facts and all the details, but we're about to see what comes out, hopefully.
He said something about the RFK, all that stuff, too. Does he got that?
Yeah, MLK.
All of it's supposed to be released, and he's supposed to be our guy. So he's in now. A lot of people were like, well, you know, he got confirmed the other day and day one already passed, but I saw he just got sworn in today, and I think that officially makes day one.
It does, yeah. Well, think of the possibility of, like, You know, whenever something big happens, they try to do something big minutes later to cover up the first thing we hear.
Yeah.
So Epstein list comes out 24 hours or like 20 minutes later. There's this horrific accident in this part of the country.
A distraction.
Someone's like, yeah, a distraction. So
it's why like
release the UFOs.
Yeah, it's why these
nuts.
guys on the Democratic Party that were voting against, you know, Patel getting in, they even had their own little outside picket line that they tried to create where it's just 5 of them standing out there trying to say they don't want him. And those dudes are scared shitless, bro. And I believe Schumer is one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But those guys are scared to death about what's going to come, I think. I think they're freaking out. And there's some really gross rumors about Chuck Schumer and a conspiracy theory that he's involved in that I think he's worried about coming out too, which has to do with the passing of a young boy.
Well, they should be worried that they're all like multimillionaires.
Oh, for sure.
Their salaries.
But I don't. I mean, there's a lot of people in Congress that should be fearing that right now.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
And these 5 particular dudes are really acting like they're scared of something. So I think they got a little bit more heat on them than
They should just get out while they can and go to a different country.
You would
Get
think.
a house somewhere
Do
quick.
you think
and
that would
just
really
somewhere.
work though?
Nope.
I think Trump has enough power to be like, hey, you got to bring them back.
Well,
No,
I mean, you're talking treason, bro. They're not just going to ignore the fact that they disappeared.
yeah.
They're going to go get them.
I don't think there's many places that would be like, nah, Trump, these guys are safe here.
Yeah.
Like you guys.
I don't think there's many places that can hold their ground against Trump if they
Exactly.
try that.
That
for
too.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I got one more
Go for
thing
it.
that I saw today. Diddy's lawyer said, I
He's
can't
out.
represent this
Yeah.
guy.
He wants out of the federal case.
serious?
He said, I can no longer move forward. He wants to he stepped down.
Mhm.
Diddy's lawyer bailed, bro.
Damn.
That speaks volumes
Yeah.
because
Crazy volumes.
he knows the truth is coming now.
That's tough.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
can't
gonna be
wait.
crazy.
Yeah, that's a huge
You better
one.
get that list out too. Everyone who is staying
yeah.
for
I
the
don't know if-
after parties.
I don't know if they're going to be able to hide that one. I think that one might, like,
That's the one that they'll throw out to make sure we get something
because
before
people
anything
care
else
about
comes
that
out because-
celebrity-wise.
Yeah, well, no, but also because he's the black guy.
Celebrities are about to. Oh, I'm so excited. LeBron's going down. All these people are going down.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yeah, fuck
Beyonce.
Jay-Z, fuck those two.
Ever since she took
can't
that
wait.
country album, Cody's been pissed.
Did you see that they're trying to take that back?
I saw that Chris Stapleton
Chris
sued
Stapleton,
the
yeah.
award.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
He put in a request to get it
Investigate.
looked at, basically. Yeah.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
So supposedly, I don't know if it's true, but Jay-Z spent a lot of money to get
Yeah, like $60
plays.
million to get radio play and get her on the charts and shit. But could be a rumor. No one's.
No,
I
I mean-
haven't seen anyone credible say that out loud yet.
That's
seen-
what they
but
do
I've
with
seen it all over
music,
the
though.
internet.
They do.
I know that is what
Yeah.
they do, but you can't just break into country by doing that and then win the best country album over people like Chris Stapleton.
I mean,
bro.
it was a pop out. It
sucked.
whatever you want to call it. You don't get to label songs however you want. That was a hip hop pop album
Yeah.
with a country twang.
yeah, it was
like-
a southern pop album.
Yeah, no,
maybe.
it was,
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, but now you know country was invented by black people, and so she.
It really
deserved
was
Yeah.
though.
she deserves
All
that.
music was all culture, all music, everything good, and white people took
Yeah,
it.
Beethoven was black. They've just
Yeah.
been hiding it.
What we're good at.
It's what they. It's what they do.
Conquers.
They find something
White
good. They
turns
take.
out white people are the thieves.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time it was you guys,
Ed.
the Jews.
Oh.
The Jews don't steal, bro.
No,
they appropriate.
See this nose?
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Good talk. Dalton, thanks for joining us as usual, man. Appreciate you guys all checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the podcast. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. Doesn't really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.